Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Rockstar Coach Brand Club. I'm Melissa Henry, and I'm your host. And I'm so excited today because I get to interview Alexa Carlin. She is the best selling author of Adaptable. She's the founder of Women Empower X, and she on Wex Press and Speak to Elevate. Her companies focus on helping entrepreneurs and business leaders use their voice to scale their business and brand. Through her cutting edge courses, consulting programs, events, and publishing division, she's helped 20,000 plus people elevate their income, influence, and impact to the next level. Alexa has been featured on the Oprah Winfrey Network, Cheddar TV, Fox, ABC, CBS, TEDx, and Entrepreneur, Glamour Magazine. Oh my gosh, the list is so long. From a 1% chance to live to now on a mission to make a difference in one person's life a day, she's creating ripple effects of change for women everywhere. So without further ado, let's welcome Alexa Carlin to the Rockstar Coach Brand Club.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
Yay, yay. So we've got a few people here in the room, and just so you know, we're going live right now, but we also are in a room together over here. And this is how, if you want to actually be able to ask Alexa questions, be in the room with us. Jenny will go ahead and post the link out there on social media for you if you're not already here. So let's get started. Let me just get to my page here. So Alexa, I know obviously a lot about you because I've been following you for several years now, but I would love for you to just share a little bit of your backstory with us for the people who are just meeting you now for the first time.
Yeah, definitely. So I've been an entrepreneur since I'm 17 years old, always with the mission to make a difference in at least one person's life a day, really believing in the power of the individual. And I saw at such a young age, I fell in love with this journey of entrepreneurship, of turning an idea into a reality. And so that was my vehicle to make an impact and make a change. And so my first business was designing jewelry for an LA-based fashion company where I donated a percentage of proceeds to help build schools in Africa and make villages self-sustainable through education. That led me to starting a blog and getting on social media with my first blog was Hello Perfect, and that was really to help instill confidence in girls and young women, needing confidence in myself as well, seeing that is imperative to success. And that really helped me start to put myself out there on social. And I started hosting small events. But so I started that in college. And right before I was graduating college, I was a senior at the University of Florida. I contracted this deadly bacteria. And just in a few moments, my life changed forever. And I was actually induced into a medical coma, given a 1% chance to live. My body went into septic shock, and I was in a coma for 6 days, in the ICU for 10. And that changed my life completely, not only because of what I experienced in the coma, which I talk about the visualizations, the experiences, whatever you believe and want to call it in my book, Adaptable. But while that experience alone changed my life, actually 6 months after I was discharged from the hospital, I also got diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, and that has been chronic and debilitating. And, anyone that deals with chronic pain and something that there is no cure for, it's hard. You're living in fear and you're always wondering, when am I going to feel better? And for so long during this time, I was waiting for something to change, waiting till I felt better, waiting to get the old version of me back, realizing after months and years went by, that's never going to happen. And so I started to turn this obstacle into an opportunity. And so I still had that passion to inspire and help people. And I thought, okay, maybe I could share my story. And that is why this happened for me versus to me. And I reached out to 60 different local organizations offering to speak for free, and nobody gave me an opportunity. And I was so discouraged, right? I'm sure people listening have felt like rejection before or failure. And That's really just what led me to starting my own events and creating my own stage when no one gave me a stage. And from there, I founded Woman in Power X and Speak to Elevate and doing what I'm doing today.
Oh my god, that's, like, so much in such a short amount of time. I love that. Oh my
And that's
gosh.
the short version.
Yeah, I was
Sorry,
gonna
but I
say, that's
kind of took
super
the whole
short.
thing.
Right. So what do you think is, like, fueling that passion for you? I mean, I understand, like, this is a massive life-changing event that you had, but what is sort of fueling that passion for you to help other women kinda do the same thing that you've done in terms of, like, building a successful business?
Yeah, so I think it really stemmed from not having confidence and just noticing that I mean, there's so many women that deal with that and men too. And that's why with Speed to Elevate, we attract a diverse crowd of people. But for Woman in Power X, it was really about giving other women an opportunity to share their voice and their mission and their passion. Because when I when I was receiving all that rejection, nobody noticed me because I didn't have the millions of followers yet. I didn't have the big brand or the book yet, or like all these things that it's like, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And it's
Yeah.
like, I have something of value, but because I don't have all these other things that you really can't get until you start sharing your voice, no one gave me this opportunity. And I knew that there were so many other women out there like me with a story that would inspire and impact others. And we wanted to elevate them and give them the stage and platform to do so. And not just speaking, but connecting and collaborating and showing that there's enough room for all of us to be successful. And that alone actually helped me gain the skill of confidence and also, helping other women to be confident in who they are, in their obstacles, in their vulnerabilities, and share that with others.
And so was that, like, the impetus for Wex? Like, is that how you s was that the platform that you created?
Yeah, so Wex was the platform that I was like, "Okay, well, I need a stage to speak on. I need to grow my business and passion, and I have a story that I feel like can impact others, and I know other women can do the same." And so it was all built on this idea of sharing not just what you do, but who you are. So it also came from, like, going to all these networking events, trying to grow, and everyone just hands you a business card and doesn't even
Yeah.
know what you're all about. And I'm like,
Mhm.
"This is
Yep.
so pointless," and I just, like, hated it so much. And
Mm.
so there was like all these different sources of inspiration to build what Wex became. And it was, again, not just sharing what you do, like I'm a speaker, I'm an author, but who you are, what makes you you. And that comes back to your story. And that's what really breaks down the walls and gets you to feel less alone and also collaborate versus compete.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I when I think about that, I think, and just this is, like, something that I would think of immediately, which is, "Okay, I'm gonna create this event," right? I think the first thing that would come to mind for a lot of people would be like, "Well, what if it doesn't work? Well, how am I gonna bring people into this? How am I gonna sell tickets?" Like, how did you get past that? Because it's a big endeavor to just be throwing an event kind of right off the bat in order to get that stage for yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
was going on there?
Yeah, and I had all those thoughts. I had those thoughts like we've hosted 10 in-person events and a few virtual, and every single one, that fear is still the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's so challenging. That's the hardest part is getting people through the door. And so I did believe in what we were doing, and so I put a down payment on a 30,000 square foot ballroom at the Fort Lauderdale Convention Center. I was living in South Florida at the time, and this was in 2015, and the event was gonna be fall 2016. So that first event, I had a year to try to plan it, and I had no clue what I was doing. And I was like, "If I could just get 3 to 500 people, that would be, like, ideal." And we ended up having over 2,000 people, and I had $0 in marketing, and this is the power of your personal brand and sharing your voice. Because while I didn't have money to spend on ads and spend on, like, billboards and TV spots and all the things that you need to do to promote these big conferences and conventions, I had my voice and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna try to speak at every single local event." We were just hitting the local market at this point, and speak for free and see if that can help bring awareness to what I'm trying to do. And I never said from the stage, like, buy my tickets or sponsor my event. I just shared my story connected to the mission and what we were trying to do and help other people do. And people would come running up and start, or saying, "How can I sponsor? How can I be part of it?" They would buy tickets, they would tell their friends. And sooner or later, we had over 2,000 people at that first event. And it was all through word of mouth marketing from my personal brand of speaking.
It's incredible, and I think what is so cool about what you just said there, and this is something that I think we forget a lot of times when we're talking about putting ourselves out there and putting our brand out there, is that we don't share what the mission is and, like, the why. So your story, telling your story is that why, and then what you plan to do with that and how you plan to impact people is that mission. So I love that you underscore that because I think so often we put this, stuff in social media. We're sending this stuff out by what I can do for you, but not really connecting people to that bigger, what is it, like movement or mission that you have in mind. That's what gets people energized.
Yeah, definitely. I call it your X factor story. And this is what I teach in Speak to Elevate. And I founded Speak to Elevate last year because I saw like the power in sharing your story and personal brand. And like, that's everything I did to build up my business. And so many people ask like how I did it, how I did it. So I created this small group coaching program to help others do the same. And we really go in depth into all these steps to help you elevate your impact, your income, and your influence. And so one of the things that I teach is called the X Factor story. And so it's a formula and anyone could do it. And so I'm going to provide it right now. So definitely
Yay.
like take a
Take
note.
the notes. Take
Um,
notes.
and so it's your personal story plus your personal solution equals your transformation. So a PS formula is what I call it. Your personal story plus your personal solution equals your transformation. Now, the easiest way to create this is to work backwards. So, where are you today? Okay. So, you're helping people in what aspect? Where are you in your life that you are that's connected to your transformation, your business? And then you work backwards. What did you have to figure out? What was your solution before you got to this place? And then what was your personal story, your struggle, your hero's journey before that solution came about? So if you think about like Speak to Elevate, why I created that. And I'm using you can have multiple X factor stories connected to your products, services, whatever you sell. Of course, got to make sales so we can impact more people. And so if I'm trying to Speak to Elevate without trying to sell it, like quote unquote, I would talk about how I was a struggling entrepreneur trying to rise above the noise, posting on social media every single day, not getting seen, not getting the leads, not getting the sales. And then I started speaking and sharing my story everywhere and anywhere possible for free. And all of a sudden, my leads started to grow, my sales started to grow, my impact started to grow, and I started to get more followers. And that has led me to getting tons of national TV spots, to getting in the press, to getting on podcasts, to getting on huge stages, to getting paid to speak, to having a growing, thriving company, right? And so I never have to sell it, but people are like, well, I want that. How can you help me? Well,
Mm.
I have a program that I help people do that.
Mm. So it's not like you're up on stage and you're like at the end getting ready to put to that pitch. It's more like, look, this is my story. Here's how I got where I am. And then people are naturally like coming to you and saying, well, can you help me do the same? Is that how would you characterize that?
Yeah, so the X Factor story is just the start. And then you
Mm.
basically, once you define it very simple like that, then you can adapt it to the situation. So if you were giving a keynote, then it would be integrated throughout your keynote speech. If you were at a networking event, and at networking events, you stand up and introduce yourself real quick, like an elevator pitch, you would make it really short and have it in the elevator pitch so people remember you, not just what you do, but who you are, right?
Mm.
Or if you are on a panel, you would integrate it into your answers. So it's just the starting point, but it really helps create the foundation of like who you are, what did you solve, and how you can help others. And what's the transformation that you have today that other people want that is connected to your products and services?
This is awesome. Hey guys, I just wanted to pause and say if you've got questions, go ahead and put them in the chat because we will take them a few times during this again. Okay, so Charlie does have a question. Thank you, Charlie. It says he asks, "What is the formula again?"
Yes, it's your personal story plus your personal solution equals your transformation. And again, like once you're sitting down and writing this out, it's easiest to work backwards.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, obviously your story, it's so incredible. It's so unique and so intense. I think that's the word I would use. So, what would you say to those, cuz I know there's people out there going to go, "Well, my story's not that incredible. My story's kind of boring compared to Alexa's story." So, what would you say to them when it comes to that?
Yeah, I've had a ton of people say that, and you don't need this crazy near death experience story to make an impact or use your voice to really scale your business and your career. All you have to do is figure out your one main like hero's journey in a way. And so there's two ways to go about this. The first, and it depends on your goal, right? If your business is around real estate and you sell the service of getting your home inspected, then you don't necessarily need a huge obstacle to be able to use speaking to scale your business, but you do need a story on why you got into the business. And so that may be like, hey, I bought a house and I decided, hey, I want to save money on getting my home inspected. And then it was like a series of nightmare after nightmare after nightmare. And I would promise myself I would never let anyone do this again. And so then I created a better way to do home inspection. I created this business so I can help others. And that's where I'm at today. So, it would be more connected in that sense. But if you are looking to really grow as a thought leader, in your industry, then I always say there is one thing that it happened in your life that affected you to the point it changed who you are. Now that could be really, from childhood. You went through bullying and it affected you. It changed you. It doesn't it could be something so simple like you lost your pet hamster and it just changed your whole outlook on life. It doesn't matter how big or small it is, it's how you tell the story and how it's connected to what your overall mission is.
Yeah, I heard somebody say once that it was like, even if the details of your story are different, I think this was a songwriter talking about this, and the reason why people love certain songs when they tell stories. And the idea is that if it doesn't matter what the story is, if there's an emotion there that people can connect with, then they're gonna be on board with you. So, like, for example, falling in love stories or whatever, if you've fallen in love and had your heart broken, well, it doesn't matter what the exact circumstances are, you're still gonna just be like, "Oh, yeah, I get that feeling." And then just
Right.
you'll be connected to that person.
And it's good. It doesn't need to be this like unique story because at the end of the day, you want to be relatable,
Yeah.
especially to your ideal client. And so not everyone can relate to a near death experience, but everyone
Mm,
can relate to going through some type of tragedy or challenge or obstacle and feeling like they're stuck in that waiting zone. Or not everyone relates to growing like, a business, but everyone can relate to feeling like not confident in their career choice. Right. And so you have to find these relatable points in your story.
yeah, yeah, to connect for sure. So, how would you help those of us here who might not love being on stage? I like to be on stages, but mostly virtual stages, to be honest. I can get up on, get be live and all of that, but I think I'm just much more comfortable at home. So for those of us that kind of feel that way, what would you suggest? Like, how do we get to shift our mindset around it?
Well, I do define stages and speaking very differently than maybe some people. So in the older days, like speaking was standing up on a physical stage with a podium and giving a speech. But in today's world, speaking is on multiple platforms and looks like a lot of different things. And so how I define public speaking is anytime you are speaking publicly to an audience, even if that audience will see it later. So if you are filming a YouTube video and you're filming it to post on YouTube for others to see, technically you are doing some form of public speaking. And same with virtual stages or podcasts or television or radio or Instagram stories. Like all of that is speaking to some type of audience. And so it doesn't matter if you like what type of platform that you are thinking about. Like if you are saying, "Oh, I don't want to be a speaker because I don't want to speak on stages." I You have to be speaking in your business to grow in today's world, or else you're going to get left behind and it's going to be very, very difficult because there's going to be someone else in your industry speaking on
Mhm.
some type of platform. And so again,
Mm.
we teach it on speaking on all different platforms, and you pick and choose what makes sense for you.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think I think most people, I maybe I shouldn't say that, but I would think most people have a way of speaking, like a platform or whatever that they feel most comfortable with. So what I always do when I'm working with my clients is figuring that out. What is the space that you feel comfortable and confident in doing? And then that's the thing that you'll continue to do and you'll be consistent doing it. Otherwise, if you think you have to be on a physical stage, then you'll just be you just won't be excited about it. You just won't do it.
Right, and it's a good place to start to, like you said, be consistent in your business on where is your ideal audience and your customers, and where can you continuously speak to them. And so focus on that. And that in itself may help you, that will help you grow your thought leadership and may, then open opportunities like, hey, do you want to speak at your industry conference on a panel? And a panel is maybe less intimidating because it's an interview process versus you having a 45-minute keynote. And so those opportunities can come about, but you don't have to think about it right now. If your goal is like, "Hey, I want to 10x my business. I want to, grow my business from 100K to 500K this year." Like your goal should be, where is my audience and where can I speak to them every single day?
I like it. And so I want to kind of talk, like shift a little bit towards sort of a strategy or tactical space. What do you think are the three most important factors in creating a speech that will actually convert people over to becoming a follower or to becoming a client?
And the three most important factors, that's a good question. So people are always asking before you say any words, who are you? Why should I care? And how can you help me? So if you can answer those questions in the beginning, you're going to be able to captivate them. And then, of course, it depends on how you use voice inflection and the performance and what you're actually saying of value to convert them. But hardest thing I think is actually keeping like getting their attention because it's so much noise out there. And so
Mm,
you want to make sure you're sharing like who you are, why other people should care, and how you can actually help them. And then in the actual speech itself, if you and speech like this could be in TikTok videos, Instagram videos. If you can make it entertaining, educational, and inspirational, then you hit all three marks. And I would call that definitely a successful video or speech.
Do you feel like everybody should be like doing that every time they sit down? Like, okay, so am I entertaining, educating, and inspiring?
Yes, but it doesn't need to be out of character. Now,
Okay.
entertainment, a lot of times, like I follow all these business leaders, right? And they're all about just education and inspiration, less entertainment. But the way that they use their voice, the way that they set up their environment, the way that they're able to use their hands and body language, that creates that entertainment factor versus just being monotone, right? If you're monotone, and you have something of so much value, it doesn't matter because no one's going to listen to that. And so the entertainment portion comes from how you speak.
I got it. Okay. And so is that the framework that you teach or do you have like can you kind of give us sort of an overview of what framework you actually use to educate your coaching clients?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a six-part framework. It starts with, of course, mindset. Everything starts with mindset. So that's when we develop the skill of confidence in the sense of speaking and personal branding and really just moving imposter syndrome to the side. And so always start from mindset. That's the foundation. Then it goes into crafting your signature talk, which is all about your messaging. And so you have to know your messaging, your target audience, your niche before you can start to really move forward with anything else. So we craft that signature talk and like who you are and what you want have to say to the world. And then it moves to your creating a thought leadership brand. And so that's everything on social media, really. Like we help you brand yourself on your website, on LinkedIn, on every single platform under the sun, and what to actually post and your bio and everything, how you're presenting yourself online to help you position yourself as a thought leader. Because there is a way to go about social media where you're not just posting day after day and thinking like, oh, I'm getting like 10 likes, I'm getting 100 views. Is this even converting? Well, it will convert if you're posting the right things because it doesn't matter how many likes you have. It matters when you're pitching yourself to your client or to a gig, an event organizer, or to the press and what they're seeing when they visit your profile. And so we teach you what to post and how to post it. And that's the thought leadership brand. Then it moves over to pitching, how to pitch yourself, how to land the gig, how to work with organizers, how to work with the press, how to pitch yourself even for partnerships. So all of that is there's a bit like an art of the pitch. And then the performance, so voice inflection, moving across the stage, how to be on a panel, just the entire performance part, and then the scaling. And so the scaling part is really important and something that took me many years to learn, and that's why it took me a while to develop this full program. And the scaling part is I never want to teach something that's exchanging dollars for hours
Mm, yeah.
because I just don't think anyone should live their life like that. Also, I have a health, condition in the sense of sometimes I'm not healthy enough to go out and speak or healthy enough to be online and do things. And so, like, if I'm not healthy, how am I going to make money if I'm always exchanging dollars for hours? And so, the scaling portion helps you turn one gig into multiple streams of revenue, ongoing cash flow, and how to actually create oncoming, like, to scale your business with oncoming income when you're not actually physically working.
That's pretty incredible. So is this a program for people though that maybe they wanna do speaking that's really more about, like, speaking online or maybe having some of their own events? Or would you say this would better help someone who really wants to go 100% in on speaking and, like, getting up on stages, like, doing the whole thing? Like, maybe becoming a TEDx speaker or something like that?
Yeah, I would say 80% of our students are entrepreneurs that are looking at speaking as the form of a marketing vehicle that they want to use,
Okay.
less than just their sole revenue stream is being a professional speaker.
Right.
So it's really for people that are ready to elevate their influence, amplify their impact, and use their personal brand to grow their business. And so, yes, you will learn how to make money through speaking in the sense of getting paid to actually speak. But that I see as like just frosting on the cake.